Hello everyone, and welcome to once again my insanity of life here in the kitchen. It is Wednesday, so it's our regular cooking with Aimee and Bristol. You can see Bristol's not here, he's too busy, he's out doing whatever he wants to do, and that's fine, because we got a lot going on today. So, I'm actually not cooking today, I'm baking. And I'm taking you along on my baking journey. I actually have quite a few things that I need to be baking today into tonight. And there's a few things that are going to be going on. And I wanted to show you that there's some really great and easy recipes that I will post over on my VIP page. So if you're not already there, follow me along, VIPeeps. Hit me up if you don't have the link. I will totally share that with you. I am very glad that you're here, and I'm sharing some really basic recipes with you today. Things that you can simplify, things that you can make adjustments to. And again, when you've got the tools in your kitchen, it makes life a little easier. So today I'm making banana bread. I'm making a double batch of scones. I am making a sugar-free chocolate cake and the icing that needs to go on it. And I'm making some chocolate chip cookies. It sounds insane. Did I say banana bread? I'm also making banana bread. You can see over here, over on my shoulder, I've got my blender, and it's got the bananas that were half frozen going on in there. So we've got a lot going on today. And if I'm looking a little silly, I fell on the ice not once, but twice on Saturday, and I've wrenched my neck, so I am going to see my chiropractor. So if I'm looking a little silly, I apologize. Hello, Barb. So I've got in my mixing bowl right now, and I'm cheating a little. And cheating in the sense of I have a mix master. You can see above like my shoulder there as well. I've got my mix master. Normally I would use, say, my pastry mixer, which I absolutely love. My pastry mixer. You can see there I've got my pastry mat out. But because I have so many things going on today, this sucker is going to be used an awful lot today. I've already got dough that's in the oven rising because, oh, did I mention I'm making cinnamon buns too? So the dough is rising in the oven, and I'm going to start with the scones. And I wanted to show you this is a really great and easy recipe, and if you do have a mix master, this is a really easy recipe that you're not going to bugger things up, because with dough we do know you have to watch. It's a science. It's the science of baking that you do need to watch. But with this recipe, it's very, very simple. And I'm taking you along. So in the bowl right now, I have 2 cups of flour. I have 6 tablespoons of sugar. I have baking powder and salt in here. And then I'm going to add butter. Now, the key to this recipe is you want to add cold butter. And I need to add 1/2 of a cup of butter. So I am going to use my measure-all cup. I already have one out, but I don't want to get this one dirty yet because we're going to use that for the Greek yogurt. So again, I'm just going to push it to the 1/2 cup mark, and I'm just going to put cold butter in here. Now, this is already cut and it's 1 cup, so I'm thankful. I'm just going to cut it in half. And when I do double this recipe, like I said, I'm going to do 2 batches of the scones. When it comes to this recipe, I actually do it twice. I just find it's a little easier to maneuver and work with. So although I am going to be doing it twice, I literally do it, I make it twice versus double batching, if that made any sense. That took a long time for me to say that today on this Wednesday. So I'm just cutting the cold butter. I took it out of the fridge maybe 10 minutes ago. You also can use frozen butter for this recipe, where you would take your grater and you would grate the frozen butter into it. But I find it's just as easy just to use cold butter right out of the refrigerator. And now I'm just going to put on my whisk tool. Goodness. Hi, Pat. Welcome. I'm just putting on my whisk tool because I find with the butter and the flour together, and I'm just going to whip it at a low speed, okay? And there. I do need to add in a minute the zest of a lemon. I believe it is 1 tablespoon of fresh zest. So I'm actually just going to take and put it right over to the pot once it's done. And what I like to do is, I'm going to show you guys in a second, but I kind of take the whisk and I behave as if it were the pastry mixer. Hello, Carol. And I'm just breaking up the butter in there. And again, frozen butter, you can totally do that. But what you want to do with a good scone is you want to make sure that the butter and the flour together are given almost a pellety, I guess would be the description, kind of like pellets. So it's mixed, but because the butter is cold, it's kind of sticking to the flour. There's not a lot of sugar in a scone. Where the deliciousness comes from is, in my opinion, the lemon and the blueberry together. And then, if you want, you just make a little glaze to put on top. So you can see there that it's kind of pellety, okay? And then I'm just going to take the lemon, which I have already washed. I don't put anything in my fridge unless it is washed. And I'm just taking, it says 1 tablespoon of lemon rind. I normally use about 1.5 lemons. And again, because I'm doubling this recipe, I'm actually not, but I will be doing it again later, I should say. I don't find the lemons ever go to waste. I do like a good tangy lemon. Any of my lemon friends out there? Krista, hello Krista from Nova Scotia. Hello friend. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love anything lemony. I am all about a good lemon tart, a lemon pie. Listen, if it's lemon, I'm a sucker for it. And to me, there's not too much lemon for anything. And fun fact, that after you do squeeze the lemon juice out of here, which we are going to squeeze the lemon juice out, we will need that. Don't throw away your rinds. You know, if you chop them up and you just put a little tiny bit of water, tiny bit, and you just put them in a bowl and add them into your fridge or anywhere where it's really stinky, like under your sink, like maybe where your compost is, the rinds just give off the nice fresh smell, obviously, of lemon juice, and it's just a great way to have some nice smelling and not waste anything that you wouldn't have to, right? Okay, so I've got the butter and the flour, the sugar mixture in there, and now we've just got our lemon rind in there right now. And then I'm going to add, Okay, I'm gonna add 1 egg and heavy cream and vanilla. And then I am putting that together and then putting that in. So again, really simple. So I'm gonna use my glass bowls for this. And again, keep it simple. Whatever you've got in the house, this is a really basic recipe that I use that you can add any other fruit to it. I've done it with raspberries. It's delicious with raspberries. If you've got any left over, they just make a little bit of a mess, but on the other hand, they're pretty, especially they're pink. So I'm going to be adding, maybe I should have taken the eggs out, duh. Okay, I tried to print this. It printed something else. Good times. I need 1/2 cup of heavy cream, just using my clear measuring cups just because they're here. Okay, and we're gonna add the vanilla. Now don't forget, our vanilla is double strength, so it says 1 teaspoon, which is really 1/2 teaspoon. I need an egg, and then I need the blueberries. I mix all of that together before I fold it in. Okay, I better take more eggs out. So we're gonna make the banana bread after. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the egg and I'm gonna whip these 3 things together. So heavy cream, vanilla, and an egg. And I've just got that going on there. And then it says the blueberries, heaping amount. So you can use fresh or frozen. I'm using fresh because I have them. And I need to get rid of some of these, like this one. Going through the blueberries before I put them in here. And it just says a heaping 1 cup. Maybe I should measure. I use the 3/4 cup since I've already put some in. And it says heaping. And there we go. So with this one, I'm just gonna stir in. So I still have my whisk in, and I'm just carefully, there we go. I'm just carefully mixing the heavy cream, blueberries, vanilla, and egg. Okay, so, and now what I'm just gonna be doing is I'm folding this in. I thought I needed the lemon juice. Hold please. This one I always use. Fresh lemon zest, baking powder, salt, heavy cream, vanilla, okay. Maybe this one's, oh, you know what I do? I use the lemon juice and for the drizzle on the top. So now I'm just gonna take the wet mixture and I'm just gonna mix it into the bowl. And I'm gonna leave that bowl because I do have to do this again. So my mom's very good friend had an emergency hysterectomy this past weekend, and she lives in Etobicoke, and my mom asked if I could bring her a treat. And who doesn't love scones? And when you're not feeling great and you're just trying to get back to life, I thought this was a good, fun thing to do. Now, if you do notice it's a little bit dry here, what you can do is just add a little bit more heavy cream, tiny bit at a time. Keep in mind that when it's baking, the butter will start to melt and will have that richness that you will need. I'm just going to quickly wash my hands. And so yeah, you need it to be wet, but we certainly don't want it to be sticky. We want it to hold together. But again, the butter will melt down. And so I just want to feel this. It still feels a little bit dry. And I also don't want to squeeze all the blueberries out. The blueberries will break down, obviously. For those of us who have baked before, those of us who do bake often, we do know the blueberries will break down, and that's okay too. But we don't want them to completely be squishy either. And then we're going to just use some basic tools. Now again, those of you who have just possibly popped on, I should be and could have used my pastry blender because I absolutely love my pastry blender. But because I'm going to be baking so many things today, I thought it was best to use my Mix Master because I have so many things I'm going to be baking all at once today. I'm making banana bread, I am making cinnamon buns, I am making cookies, and I'm making a sugar-free chocolate cake. So because of that, I was trying to save some time the best I can. And really, us bakers do know that. And don't think it's cheating for you bakers who are just starting to learn. That's how a smart baker / chef does things. If we can do things efficiently, that's what we're doing. So you can see there that it's stuck together. Like you want it kind of on your fingers, but it's not totally all stuck, right? And I'm just squishing this down into a brown ball. You can see here the chunks, I'm hoping you can see. There are chunks of butter that are in here. A good scone, you do have the butter that will break down while it's cooking. Although these aren't extremely high in sugar, they're about, like I said, 6 tablespoons in here. And then the natural sugars of a blueberry. The deliciousness comes from the butter. And the deliciousness also comes from the icing that you might drizzle on top. And there's a couple ways that you can do that. You can just do it with heavy cream and a little bit of powdered sugar and some lemons. The other opportunity to do is to take the lemon juice, to squeeze it out, to brush it on a brush, and then just put a granular sugar on top before baking and cut down the sugar a little bit there. Or, like I said, you can just make a delicious glaze that you might want, and you just drizzle that right on top. So you can see there, that's all I do. I am just gonna wash my hands quickly here. I'm gonna put this last little blueberry here. Quickly just wash my hands. And then I'm gonna take out my pizza cutter. Yes, folks, pizza cutters are not just for pizza. And again, that's why I like to cut mine round, and then I cut it the same way that I would as if I'm cutting a pizza. I cut them into 8 squares. I am using one of my beloved stones. For those of you who do follow me on VIPeeps, those of you who are in my VIP, you might have already heard, I have a sale going on right now of our stones. I actually have the sale going on of all products right now, 25% off. And now I'm just taking our slices and I'm just laying them on to the stone. Now, these are not going to rise very much. They'll puff up, obviously, but a scone isn't going to actually rise like a cookie, spread like a cookie. So again, it's really easy for me just to use one stone to be able to lay them out, all 8 of them here, and voila, I have scones that are going to be popped into the oven. Whew. If I don't throw them on the counter first. Again, really easy recipe, very fast. You guys all witnessed how quickly and how fast that was. I will be turning the oven on to 375, and those will bake in the oven for anywhere between 10 to 12 minutes. So again, really simple recipe, very fast to make a good scone. And I'm gonna put that aside and we're gonna start with banana bread. So again, I try not to keep you guys more than a half of an hour. I'm gonna leave those there. And we are going to start our banana bread. Now, the banana bread recipe, I will be doubling because I have a ton of bananas. I also have 2 of my pans already ready to go. And when I make banana bread, I normally then gift banana bread to friends and family and such. So it's one of my favorite things to do is A, I get some bananas out of my house, and B, I love to give a good bake, a good treat to people. So that's just my thing. So because I'm gonna double the recipe, I would normally use my batter bowl, or sorry, my new mixing bowl, not my batter bowl, but today I'm gonna use my extra large stainless steel bowl. I am just gonna fold up my pastry mat because I won't need it right now, and it's kind of messy. So I'm gonna use my bowl, and what I love about it is it does have the non-slip grip, which is awesome. And I'm just gonna use the basic banana bread recipe that I've posted often on my Facebook page. We are going to use half of the butter, so I am gonna double this recipe. So I need, it calls for a half a cup of butter. I'm actually probably gonna triple this because I have so many bananas. So I need half of a cup, so I would need 3/4 of a cup. So I am going, sorry, a cup and a half. I am actually going to use 3/4 of a cup of butter because I'm then going to use the other part of applesauce. So I like to cut the fat and sugar where I can. It's just my thing. Certainly not making any comments to how every single person bakes or cooks. Those of you who know me very well, especially with a daughter with an eating disorder. You know, this is something that has been a battle in our house. Also the fact that I've lost 175 pounds and clearly I still like to eat. But I like to cut down the sugar and the fat where I think we can, and that we're not actually we're not losing anything out of it, and I'm gonna add some extra goodness to this. So I'm adding 3/4 of a cup of butter. I'm gonna put this in my silicone prep bowl, and I'm just gonna melt that till it's completely melted. Okay, and put that on for about 45 seconds. In the meantime, I had taken applesauce. So I had some apples that were on their way out. I just whipped up some applesauce in my quick cooker months ago, and then I just toss it in the freezer. When I need it, I can take it out. It is lightly sweetened, so again, I always cut the sugar down when I use applesauce because I've already added some cinnamon and a little bit of brown sugar to my applesauce. Therefore, I don't have to use the extra sugar. So I'm also going to use 3/4 of a cup of applesauce because I'm just substituting 1 for 1 when it comes to the applesauce. And it doesn't matter that it is partially frozen either because it's all going to just be mixed together in here. So again, applesauce is a great alternative for your butter. It adds just that extraness to sweetness and or moisture, but more importantly, it cuts out the fat a bit, and that's all I really want. So I've got 3/4 of a cup of applesauce from my measure-all cup. I've got my melted butter in the microwave, which is good to go. So I'm just gonna add that to the applesauce. And then I'm gonna add 6 eggs, okay? And I'm just gonna mix all this together. Now again, really easy, very simple, basic recipe where you can make any adjustments that you need to any recipe, this being one of them. I'm gonna add chocolate chips to one of them. I can add walnuts, I can add pecans, anything that you may wanna add to this one. It's so great. It's like a good chocolate chip cookie recipe where you've got a good butter cookie recipe, and then you can add chocolate chips, peanut butter chips, you can add white chips with cranberries, like any of the basics, and that's what's really great about this banana bread recipe as well. It's very basic, super simple, and again, I can cut the fat, I can cut the sugar, I can add this, I can add that. We're gonna add some pea protein to it. It's got Greek yogurt in it, so it's already got some goodness. I always toss flax into it because you know what, who doesn't need some extra help in that department too? So I'm adding the vanilla, all right, and then the sugar that needs to be in here. This recipe calls for 3/4 of a cup of sugar times 3. Yeah, that's not happening. So I'm actually going to use brown sugar. I always do brown sugar, and I'm literally cutting the sugar in half. So 3/4 of a cup times 3 is insane to me. So again, I've added applesauce to it. My applesauce is already sweetened, so therefore I don't need to add a ton of extra sugar. Plus, bananas are sweet, and then once I add my chocolate chips or anything else to it, I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to take out my brown sugar keeper. So that's Pampered Chef's little brown sugar keeper, just to make sure my brown sugar doesn't get all stuck together. And I always use the end of my bowl here, just so I can measure that off. So I am using half of the sugar, and so I am literally cutting the sugar in half. So I used 3/4 of a cup and a half a cup, so I've used 1 cup of brown sugar instead of 2.5 cups of brown sugar. And again, no judgment. You want to use that? Who cares? I don't care. I just know I just feel better. And then once I add the chocolate chips to it, I find it just gets sweeter anyway. And again, if this is the recipe, it's fabulous. Don't get me wrong, follow it, it's amazing. But that's just how I am. Okay, I am now going to add the Greek yogurt. And I'm adding, this needs 1.5 cups of Greek yogurt. And again, once we add all this, we're also getting extra protein in there because of the Greek yogurt. So I'm adding a cup and a half of Greek yogurt. Now this one's almost done. Okay. Greek yogurt at my house is used often instead of sour cream. I don't know if some of you caught a video that I did a couple days ago with our French onion dip. I did half of a cup of Greek yogurt, which is just plain. There's no sweetness in this. I did a half of a cup of whipped cream cheese, and then I added a tablespoon of Pampered Chef's French onion dip, and my God, it was delicious. And Dave absolutely loves blue cheese dressing, but he also likes cilantro, so he's truly a weirdo. So I made him his own blue cheese dressing to go with his chicken wings for Super Bowl. And again, I used Greek yogurt. Didn't throw it all over the counter like I just did. I added Greek yogurt to it, because then it kept the fat down, which is awesome. Okay, so I've got the Greek yogurt in here, and I'm kind of folding it in and getting that going. And then for the banana, because everything wet is in here, and then I'm just gonna fold in the flour and such. Again, this isn't a really farty recipe at all. It's very, very, very simple, easy to do. And again, I can use my stone loaf pans, I can use my muffin pans, I can use my mini loaf pans for this one, depending on what we're doing. So I've got all that in there, and then I need to add, so it says 2 overripe bananas, which to me work out to be about 3/4 of a cup. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3/4 of a cup, and I do that heaping. I do that 3 times. And these bananas they were frozen. I do take my ripe bananas out of the peel. I have a container in the freezer, and then I just add the bananas to it as they're kind of mushed together. And that way, when I want to use something, I can just take them out, thaw them, and then throw them into a recipe. So there's all of the wet ingredients. So it's got the bananas, the eggs, the yogurt, it's got the sugar, it has the eggs, and it has the vanilla, and I'm pretty sure I've just got banana, oh my God, all over myself. I meant to put my apron on. Okay, so we've got all of those things in there, and I'm now going to add all of the dry ingredients, and then afterwards, I am simply going to add, whether it be the chocolate chips, the nuts, or anything like that. So I'm going to add 1.5 cups, so 1, 2, 3, 4.5 cups of flour. Whew, I have some scones in there. Okay, so 3.5 cups, so 1, 2. What's great about our measuring spoons as well, I brought it out, is we do have a leveler that comes with our measuring cups, which is great. So I said I needed 4.5 cups, okay? So there's 4.5 cups of flour. I'm gonna add some pea protein, which I did take out. Where, oh where is my pea protein? Ah, my pea protein. Okay, so I'm gonna add some pea protein in here. And just gonna sprinkle that in there just so that I've got some extra protein. The Greek yogurt is giving us protein as well, guys. I need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. So, I need 1.5 teaspoons of salt. And in a half of an hour, because we've been together for half of an hour, I will have made banana bread and scones in a half of an hour. And how did we get this done? We got this done because we have it, we've got some really basic recipes. And again, I love these basic recipes because then I can add to it. So again, the banana bread, I can add extra things to it afterwards. And I need baking soda, salt. Okay, so I just need baking soda and salt. I'm gonna add and mix all this together. Now it looks very wet still, and again, I can play around with that because I did add the heaping amounts of banana. But once we stir this in, this is a great time as well that if you wanted to even add a little bit of oats to this, you can make an oatmeal banana bread. And again, you're then adding extra protein to it, and it's simple, easy to do. You can see there, it's starting to get a little bit harder to stir, and that's what we want with the banana bread. We do want it to be wet. And again, a really basic recipe that's got some protein, some goodness. It's sweet due to the applesauce and the bananas. And now we can add nuts. We can add chocolate chips. It will take about 55 minutes to cook this up. And it'll only take 8 to 10 minutes to cook up the scones. So I'm gonna cook up the scones first, let those cool, toss the banana breads in, and while the banana breads are cooking, I can continue on and make the other things that I need to do today. It is a baking kind of day. Really simple, basic, easy recipes that I wanted to share with you guys. I will have them over on the VIPs page. Some of you have already seen this banana bread recipe. It is a go-to for me because of the fact that it's very simple. It's basic things that we have in our house, and now that we've got this basic recipe, we can add things to it. I love the scones. Trust me when I tell you they're delicious. You saw how fast and easy they were to make. And again, I am super glad that you are here with me today. I've got the banana bread. You can see there that it's perfect. That's the kind of consistency you want for banana bread. And now be able to put them into my stones. And I'm so glad that you're here today. In this half of an hour, we whipped up 3 loaves of banana bread and some scones. I'm going to continue on with our brownies, our gluten-free brownies. I've got some chocolate chip cookies I need to make, and I'm going to make a sugar-free chocolate cake. And I will share all of the progress over on the VIPs page. Glad you are here. Have a great Wednesday and enjoy. Those of you who like baking, you're with me.